Okay. Shalom, everyone. Good to see you. So that is the end of my Hebrew, unfortunately. So first of all, I'd just like to say thank you to Amos and FK Elektra for giving us, F.G.Wilson, the opportunity to come here and speak to you all today. And thank you for taking your time out to come and listen to what we have to say. I'm going to start, first of all, I assume, as my Hebrew is not so good, I assume Amos has already explained what, in general, you're going to hear about today, so I'll not repeat that. So I'm just going to start with a very short overview of F.G.Wilson, and then we can get to the two experts we have in the room today who you've really come to listen to. So just to give you an idea of who F.G.Wilson is, we are a business that has been in the electric power industry for over 50 years. And in that time, we have approximately 650,000 generating sets built and installed across the world. So we are long-time players in the industry. So I'll just give you an overview of the timeline of F.G.Wilson as a company. So we were founded in 1966 by Mr. Fred Wilson and his sons, with 6 employees in Belfast, Northern Ireland, in the north of Ireland, the northeast. We started growing as a company significantly in the mid-1970s. So 1973, it's unfortunate but a fact of life in our business that we benefit from chaos and disruption, particularly to power supplies, which is good for business. So in 1973, we had our first big moment of chaos in the UK, where we had a lot of labour strikes, a lot of political unrest, which caused many of the power stations across the United Kingdom to close down. So Fred Wilson, being a entrepreneurial spirit, flew a plane to the US, loaded up a jumbo jet with a lot of generating sets, flew them back to Heathrow in UK, and sold them out of a warehouse and auctioned them off to the highest bidder. So that really got the F.G.Wilson finances flowing and allowed us to drive our business further. So that was in the UK. Then in the mid-1970s, the next big opportunity came in the Middle East. So F.G.Wilson was a solutions power company. We didn't have such a thing as a standard range of gensets. We provided solutions. So the discovery of oil in the Middle East in the mid-70s really provided us with our next big opportunity to grow the business, and that was through providing small power stations across the Emirates as they are today, which drove us forward. Then in the mid-1980s, as the industry developed, we released our first standard range of generating sets, mainly with Perkins engines at the time. And through this partnership with Perkins, in 1986, we signed an agreement with Perkins and became their first electric power OEM. So we became their first electric power partner who takes their engines and develops them into generating sets. So that started a very close partnership between ourselves and Perkins in terms of design, validation, particularly of validation of their engines for use in electric power applications. It's F.G.Wilson that really partnered with Perkins to the benefit of the rest of the electric power industry in validating Perkins engines for use in electric power. Okay. Then in the early 90s, we started coming to the attention of Caterpillar. Caterpillar had been trying for a long time to get into the electric power market below 2 megawatts. They were struggling with that, so what they decided to do was contract F.G.Wilson to manufacture the Olympian brand. So you're probably aware of the Olympian brand. So that has been manufactured by F.G.Wilson. Then in the mid-90s, we then came to the attention of The owner of the main alternator that we used, Leroy Somer, owned by a company called Emerson Electric. So by the mid-90s, Emerson Electric came along and bought F.G.Wilson 100%. Very shortly after that, in 1996, Emerson Electric sold 50% of the company to Caterpillar. There is a rumor that in 1994, Emerson Electric got news that Caterpillar was interested in F.G.Wilson, so Emerson got in there first and made a good return on their investment by selling 50% 2 years later. So that joint venture was short-lived because Caterpillar liked what they saw, and basically, as big American companies do, if you can't beat them, buy them. So instead of trying to compete with us, they thought, okay, we had global reach, we had the distribution network, we had the manufacturing capability, we had the quality that was right for Caterpillar. So in 1999, we became wholly owned by Caterpillar. And in 2013, we opened a new facility in the Belfast area. Any of you who have been over to Northern Ireland to our facility in Larne, it's a nice place, but it's also nice just to be able to go to an office in Belfast rather than travel up to the factory in Larne. So then in 2016, the F.G.Wilson retail team relocated from our main factory in Larne into Belfast. Okay, I have a short video here, which I will talk over, which gives you an idea of our manufacturing facilities, both in the UK and also in China. So this is our main manufacturing plant in Larne. We have the main office here. We have the main manufacturing facility. And on the left, we have our research and design premises here. So here we have the sound chamber, the hemi-anechoic sound chamber, where a lot of our testing and validation work is carried out. In the factory in the UK, we have 5 production lines for our standard product. Okay, the production methodology is all based on Caterpillar Production System own methodology. The quality systems, the validation, the pre-quality and post-quality manufacturing checks are all to a Caterpillar standard. So as you see here, this is clips from our factory in Tianjin in China, following exactly the same manufacturing processes, exactly the same standard product testing processes, to make sure that no matter where our product is built, in Asia or in the UK, it is of the same quality. We also do a range of custom designed gensets in addition to our standard range, and the vast majority of this work is done in the UK. We have 2 production lines in the UK, which are manufacturing containers and also custom design generating sets for Power Solutions business, which still represents a very significant proportion of our turnover. So any of you who have ever been to this facility in Larne, you may not recognize it, particularly from the opening shots, because the sun was shining. It tends to be a very, very miserable place, whether it's in the summer or winter, located right beside the North Sea. So as you see, it's an excellent quality environment, which is producing the generating sets. Okay. So that's a little bit about our manufacture. Quality is one of our strengths, but probably our biggest strength of all is the strength of the F.G.Wilson dealer network. So we have approximately 180 independent dealers across the world. Each one of these dealers is a key partner for F.G.Wilson. Anything you know about the F.G.Wilson brand, it's from what the F.G.Wilson dealer in your territory has told you about it. That is why our relationship with the F.G.Wilson dealer is critical. We need strong, long-term relationships. And it's one thing that our competitors are quite jealous of, is the strength of these long-term relationships. Quite a lot of our competitors will jump from distributor to distributor based on just focusing mainly just on price and availability. But because of the quality of the F.G.Wilson brand and what it represents, we need to invest in our independent dealers. So FK Elektra is a perfect example of what we look for in a dealer. Experts in their field, leaders within their country in the electric power business, and it's therefore no surprise that Elektra came and invested in FK generators. So the typical F.G.Wilson dealer has been with us for 15 years or more, and the strength of the F.G.Wilson dealer is their own independent expertise, but it also comes from the support that we can provide the dealer as well. So for example, the support that F.G.Wilson gives the dealer on the pre-sales side includes things like a typical, obviously we have our multilingual public fgwilson.com website, but also on the pre-sales side we have a system called GenSelect, which helps the dealers source the right model for the application that they are sizing. GenSelect allows you to input ambient conditions, load patterns, all load steps, and it will assess and determine what is the correct F.G.Wilson model to offer. We also have, in terms of transactional support, our dealers can do all their transactions with us online. They do their orders online through a system called GenSets Online. Dealers can then track their orders through a secure website called PowerUp2. So anytime you order anything from FK Elektra, FK Elektra should be able to tell you very quickly the status of that order in our factory, because they can see that information on our systems. All our support literature, technical data, drawings is also available on PowerUp2 and also available on DVD to the dealers. And we also have a pre-sales help desk that the dealers can call if they have any technical inquiries. On the post-sales side, we also support our dealers through parts marketing materials that we provide them with. Parts identification can also be done online through a system called Compass, which includes the part numbers of every single genset serial number we have produced in our standard range since 2011. So a dealer can type in your serial number and it will bring up the list of aftermarket parts that are related to that particular product. Again, it's just try and slipstream improve the support that the dealer can give you versus the competition. We also have a product training facility in our Belfast office. We also offer our dealer and our dealers' customers training on site in country. Again, we have an aftermarket help desk as well for post-sales issues. The technical files, the flash files that can be used when servicing the generating sets, the FK Elektra service team can go online and download the flash files that are needed for any particular genset that they are servicing at the time. So from pre-sales to post-sales, it matters a lot to F.G.Wilson that our dealers have the capability to support the customers. That's what sets us apart from the competitors. Okay. That's enough from me. I'm going to hand you over now to Mr. Johnny Rogers, who will talk to you about mechanical aspects. Okay. I think we